SmackDown took place tonight in Perth, Western Australia at RAC Arena. We start with a hype video promoting the two Crown Jewel championships, and then when the show starts, they show us some gorgeous stills of the skyline of Perth, which is really nice, and we have Cody Rhodes starting off the show. We have a special set designed for these shows in Perth. It's a similar setup to what they did at Paris. There's no Eiffel Tower, obviously, but you have a good set this time, and I'm glad they're doing that for PLEs now. So you had the fans sing Cody Rhodes, that song that they first started in the UK. Now everyone wants to do it. Cody cuts a promo in his lisp, and it was just really noticeable here to me for some reason. It dragged on forever. When he mentioned Seth Rollins, the fans start calling Seth Rollins a wanker. Cody has Michael Cole. He throws the mic at Michael Cole and tells him to say what the fans are saying. And he gives it to Bear, and Bear announces that they're saying Seth Rollins is a wanker. Everyone cheers. Cody says he's the one guy that Seth can't beat. So backstage, Chelsea Green walks up to Stephanie Vaquer to congratulate her, and then she offers her a Slagent position. That's real, a Slagent. That's what they're fucking calling it. Look, I don't mind the Secret Service, but she's no longer Women's U.S. Champion. Get rid of it now. Let her just have Alba Fire as her, as part of her crew or something. Why is she still doing the Secret Service gimmick, the Slagent? Oh, so stupid. Anyway, Tiffany Strong walks up to her, and that's Stephanie, and as she is, Stephanie just throws the flyer on the floor, which was pretty funny. Stephanie then says that her and Tiffany are going to be on the same page tonight. Sami Zayn was out next. Backstage, Cody Rhodes walks up to Jacob Fatu. And Jacob, actually, I meant to say Jacob went up to him, and he wants a shot after the match that Cody has with Seth tomorrow. Nick Aldis wants to talk to Jacob Fatu in his office, and then as Jacob has his back turned, Drew McIntyre jumps Jacob from behind and throws him into a bunch of production boxes. He says after he really assaults Jacob, a whole bunch of refs try to stop him. Aldis is there. And after it's all broken up, that's what they set up to promote this feud. I hope this doesn't drag out for months like the Drew McIntyre Damian Priest feud did, but that's where we're headed next. So we have the Sami Zayn US Open Challenge up next, and the opponent for tonight, or for today when I watched it, of course this took place Eastern time. This aired at 8 o'clock in the morning. I obviously did not watch the show at 8 in the morning, but when you watch the show, I had a big problem is sometimes they cut through the commercial breaks, and when you're an international viewer, you get to see the commercial breaks when you watch it live. Watching on replay, you can't, so there was a lot of stuff that you kind of missed, and it really shows in this match because it skipped. I was looking forward to watching Sami Zayn and Shinsuke Nakamura because this is a rematch of their classic match, NXT TakeOver Dallas in 2016, which was Shinsuke Nakamura's debut with the company. Still easily, I think, his best match he's ever had with the company. And, I knew this would be nowhere near that because, Nakamura doesn't really try since he went to WWE. He doesn't want to kill his body, and I don't blame him. You look at all those guys in Japan, I'm sure, almost all of them have severe pain in their back and neck and shoulders and knees from the, that strong style and how physical it is. So I don't blame him. It's just, I really don't care to see him in WWE. What's he really bring? He's just a guy. He has some charisma. He has a gimmick. But, the big thing with Nakamura was how great he was in the ring. That's what people were looking forward to him coming into WWE, and we never really got that. So I was looking forward to the match, but again, because it's recorded on Netflix cuts out the commercials, the wrestling that happens during the commercials, so you missed large portions of this match. It went on for a while. Fans were into it. They were into Nakamura, to be honest. They were chanting "Welcome back," and they were more into Nakamura than they were into Sami here. DMFT in white face paint now. They attack both of them, causing a disqualification. I think Tama Tonga was the first guy we saw. All of them wearing white face paint. It looks awful. Solo Sikoa, in my opinion, should be cut. No charisma, fucking garbage. A charisma vacuum, awful on the mic. Should not be a leader. He's fine as the bodyguard. That was his role in the Bloodline. And it was fucking Heyman. It was Roman who wanted to push Solo Sikoa. They thought he could be a big star. They wanted to build him up. This is what you built up. He's a fucking bomb. He fucking sucks. He's awful. Shouldn't be promoted. He should not have a top role in the company. He's fine as like a bodyguard, as the enforcer. That was his position in Bloodline. He was fine at that. That's all he should be doing. He is garbage as a leader. He is garbage as the tribal chief position. He is fucking horrible. Solo Sikoa sucks. Only fucking nepotism is why he has this position. Charismaless vacuum. He sucks, man. So, they show us some of the beautiful beaches of Australia. I'm glad they did. I just thought to myself, I would love to go to the beach there. I would never, you can pay me $1 million, I would not step 1 foot into that fucking water. I would not go into the water. No fucking way. Some of the animals that exist in Australia. No fucking way. So you had Drew McIntyre talking to Nick Aldis backstage, who tells him that he's facing Jacob Fatu next week. Then Jacob goes after him until a bunch of refs break it up to promote the match. Stephanie Vaquera is out next, and then Tiffany Stratton is out in front of the same Australian crowd who really got behind her last year and really gave her a lot of momentum. When Tiffany debuted, I think she came first at the Rumble, but it wasn't until the Elimination Chamber last year in Australia, in that stadium show, when people really began to gravitate to her. And after that, I mean, she really never lost any momentum. And still, she's very over, even though I think the last few months of her title reign have been extremely stale. I still think she really should have just lost to Jade at SummerSlam. But Tiffy, that's really, Australia is really into her. And I think, you might see more of a pro-Tiffy crowd tomorrow against Stephanie Vaquera. And Stephanie Vaquera is probably the most over woman in the company right now besides Rhea Ripley. And maybe, Alexa Bliss still gets a lot of, she's still very over with the crowd. She always gets a big pop. So maybe those three, but are the most popular in terms of crowd reaction. But you might see more of a pro-Tiffy crowd tomorrow. So then Julia and Kiana James come out. It's not a good pairing. Kiana just doesn't fit Julia, man. She doesn't work with her. It also doesn't help that she's taller than Julia, and she's supposed to be her manager. That's an awful pairing. Maybe it's a Road Dogg decision, man. No more Road Dogg. He sucks. I'm glad he was kind of demoted. He's still technically the head writer, but I'm sure much of his power is going to be gone. When they're getting rid of people around you, you should know you're probably not too long for this position. So we get the tag match, Stephanie Vaquera and Tiffany Stratton against Julia and Kiana James. So Stephanie does a double kiss to Kiana James. Fans love it. They go crazy for it. And she did it right away, so they got a big pop. She stared down Julia, and I was looking forward to that. Good. And then it went to break. So I missed Stephanie Vaquera and Julia, and I also missed Sami Zayn and Shinsuke Nakamura. Two great NXT matches, or NXT rivalries. But, so Julia and Stephanie, after they do the stare down, they go to commercial, and we're back, but we miss everything, and Kiana James is back in the match. So Stephanie and Julia didn't have too much interaction, but at the same time, if they can save it one time for a future match on the main roster, and to be honest, our NXT match wasn't the greatest because it was kind of cut short on that, it was still really good on that Roadblock show at the MSG Theater. So hopefully, once they have a match on the main roster, they can have a longer term match and they can have more time. And more than just one match. I thought they'd have this great long feud in NXT, and instead we have JC Jane as champion. So, I was looking forward to seeing Stephanie Vaquera and Julia feud all throughout the summer in NXT, have this great, awesome women's rivalry. Instead, we have JC Jane as our fucking champion. Anyway, start going off on a tangent. So, Tiffany eventually gets a hot tag. Fans loved her. She went wild. Stephanie Vaquera takes out Julia on the outside with a crossbody, and then Tiffany Stratton pins Kiana James with the prettiest moonsault ever. So, both champions, Tiffany and Stephanie, then pose in front of the Crown Jewel Championship. So, they stand in front of the glass belt, which holds the Crown Jewel title, and each holds up their respective world championships. Stephanie Vaquera, your women's world champion, Stephanie Vaquera, your women's world champion, and Tiffany Stratton, your WWE women's champion. Backstage were Sol Ruca and Zarya, and then Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair, our women's tag team champions, walk in. And Alexa tells them that they were both impressed with their performances. Or actually, I think it was Charlotte who says they were impressed with their performances. Alexa, however, says she doesn't know if they're ready for a women's tag team titles. And it was kind of weird when she says it because Zarya and Sol Ruca tower over her, especially Zarya. Zarya is probably twice the size of Alexa Bliss. So it's kind of awkward in a way for Alexa to tell her, I don't think you're ready because, it would make more sense for Alexa to be the underdog in that scenario. But eventually, Sol asks them for an opportunity, and it was Charlotte who accepts, and Alexa doesn't look too pleased with it. It looks like Charlotte just accepted on her own, so maybe they're choosing tension. Eventually they're going to split, but then again, that's kind of their gimmick anyways, so it is what it is. I guess we'll get that match maybe next week, maybe in 2 weeks, I'm not sure. And this was an obvious pre-recorded segment because Alexa Bliss, I think, was posting photos on her Instagram, and she's like not in Australia right now, and I think Charlotte's not there either, so they probably just taped this last week. And where were they? Were they in? I forget where they were last week. Were they in Orlando or something? I don't remember. Maybe that was Raw last week. I'm not sure, but I'll think of where were they last week? Actually, no, they were in Cincinnati last week. I'm sure this was taped in Cincinnati. Actually, I have no doubt it was. They're not going to fly them out to Australia to do like a 5-minute segment. Street Profits are out next. They plug WrestleMania 42. Then they promote tourism to Western Australia. We see Aleister Black warming up backstage. The Wyatt Six make their entrance. Fans all do the Firefly gimmick for Bray Wyatt. However, Uncle Howdy was not present, which was interesting. I thought he should be there. Maybe they're losing the belt. I thought maybe he's going to appear as Bo Dallas, but that really didn't happen. So we get our tag team championship match. Wyatt Six, that's Joe Gacy and Dexter Lumis wrestling, defending against the Street Profits, Angelo Dawkins and Montez Ford with B-Fab in their corner, while the Wyatt Six had Nikki Cross and Eric Rowan in their corner, and Eric Rowan interfered multiple times in this match. Eventually, the Wyatt Six pinned Montez Ford, and this was like a quick match, only went a few minutes, so surprising. To me, it seemed like, all right, they're probably going to split up the Street Profits after this. They lost clean, that's it. It looks like that's it. They should probably be split up after this. So MFT appears behind the Wyatts in their face paint. Fans chant, "Fuck you, Solo." Instead of like having Solo stare down Uncle Howdy, which would have made all the sense in the world, they have Solo staring down Nikki Cross, and it looks awful because Nikki has to take Uncle Howdy's position because he wasn't there for some reason, and it just looks so fucking bad. I'm glad we got "Fuck you, Solo" chance because he absolutely sucks, and I just thought, where's Uncle Howdy? Where's Bo Dallas? Why isn't he here? But I don't mind this feud, to be honest. If that's something they can do. They can have some 8-man tags. Won't be that bad. Especially with Tama Tonga back. So Kathy Kelly's backstage. She interviews The Miz on why he turned on Carmelo Hayes. Again, this is obviously a pre-recorded segment from last week. I think it was pretty obvious. And Miz just, to me, just says, go away, Heat. I just tune him out now. I don't want to see him anymore. We get a video package for Damian Priest versus Aleister Black, which is a last man standing main event for SmackDown. The announcers preview Crown Jewel, which is tomorrow, and then we get our main event of SmackDown, a last man standing match, Damian Priest against Aleister Black. Priest was out first, then Black is out. So, as I said, when you're watching this on replay, the big problem is, especially for us international viewers, you don't get to see the wrestling in between the commercials, and that takes away from it. And I can especially understand if you're frustrated watching this on USA Network in the United States, because you miss a lot. And, you know, a match like this, they do a lot, and you want to see what they do in the last man standing match. So Damian Priest uses steps at first. They went to a break. You had the bigger steps, the bottom steps in the ring, and we saw some moves on there. I think he had Black hit a Meteora onto Priest, and you saw some slams into the steps. Kendo sticks were used. You had a spot where both of them were using kendo sticks on each other, as I think during when Priest was trying to do an old school. Aleister Black used a steel chair. Damian Priest hit the Razor's Edge onto an announce booth, and it didn't break, but it looked really good. And the ref was counting to 9, but Black survives, and then Priest does it again, but the booth won't break again. And, you know, it just looked kind of weird because it wouldn't break. And this wasn't the that casino announce booth they usually use. This was just the old school announce booth, and this is the kind of booth they haven't used in years. It's like the traditional announce booth, and like it wouldn't break either time. And Priest Black survives a second Razor's Edge, so he just like rolls off the booth and his feet hit the ground. Then they go into the crowd, and Aleister Black looks like he's going to be finished. He's getting his ass kicked now. Damian Priest throws him onto a bunch of production boxes. Both of them are on the top, and it looks like Priest is going to destroy him. However, Zelina Vega, Aleister Black's wife, real-life wife, appears, and she's in the crowd, and she pleads with Damian Priest to stop it. And Zelina, the way she's dressed here, I'm not complaining, but it's like, she's not like wearing any clothing. It's just kind of strange. Like she'd be dressed like that just to appear in a wrestling crowd. But she's trying to get Aleister Black. She's trying to protect her husband, not to get him killed right here. And they don't even acknowledge that they're married, but she's trying to stop Priest, and Priest eventually refuses, and Zelina goes down, and looks like Priest is going to finish him. Black continues to plead with him, but as we didn't see, but Zelina then handed something to Aleister Black, and Aleister Black then uses a fireball. He throws a fireball right in Damian Priest's face, and then he hits the black mask after throwing the fireball. After the black mask, Damian Priest he falls off the production boxes, and he crashes through a table on the outside, and that's it. He's counted out to 10. Aleister Black gets the win, and all I have to say is I really love the pairing. I think this is great. I think they should have done this a long time ago, to be honest. I think Zelina can fit perfectly with her husband's gimmick, the dark gimmick. She can do great with it. She can really there's been a lot of characters like that are more darker, and I just think she can really pull it off. There's something about her where I think she's just perfect for that position. And I think she'll do really well. She was fantastic as Andrade's manager, and I always thought, this will never happen now, back when Andrade was still with the company, that one day they're going to have Aleister Black and Zelina Vega, because they're really married in real life, taking on Andrade and Charlotte Flair when they were still married. Now they're divorced. I thought they would one time do that mixed tag match. It never happened. But I'm glad that they finally put Zelina Vega with her husband, Aleister Black. I think that's the best position for Zelina. I don't think there's much for her in the women's division, to be honest. I'd like this pairing a lot more, and I think this is actually a really good pairing, and I'm really glad they did this, and I thought it ended on a really high note. So that was SmackDown. Definitely the last act, the main event, was definitely the highlight of the show for me. The last man standing, followed by the reveal of Zelina Vega and Aleister Black. I thought that was definitely the best part of the show. We'll see. Hopefully they do better in the ratings. Probably not, because it's a pre-recorded show. It's a tape show, and the ratings were fucking horrible last week. So hopefully SmackDown does better this week, because I think some more heads are going to roll if they WWE can't afford them to just completely flatten. They need them to do better. I know USA Network is dependent on WWE, but they don't want this, believe me. So hopefully the ratings do better this week, and we'll see what happens. But I thought it was SmackDown's been probably the worst show WWE's produced this year. I thought this was a fine episode. It was, especially because of the main event and how it ended. I thought it made the show okay this week, and the crowd was good. So we'll see how the ratings do.